Welcome to another episode of Solitaryism, and I'm Robert Bitto, your host. Today I want to talk a little bit about networking. People who are alone might think that they're missing out on networking. If you're not very social and you don't have a lot of friends, how are you going to get the inside scoop on a job or the hookup with a good attorney or whatever it may be? Now, people pride themselves in knowing a lot of people, having lots of connections, and claiming that those connections enrich their lives. And it's an interesting psychological effect that the hookup or the inside track has on the person providing the hookup or inside track, and then the person receiving this supposed coveted information or contact or whatever it is. Take, for example, in my life, I needed a lawyer. This was like 12 years ago in connection with my business. And a neighbor said to me, "Oh, I know a lawyer. He's my friend. He's real good. And, he can help you and all of this stuff." And I thought, oh, well, great. I'm getting a special connection. And it made me feel like, hey, I'm not out there alone and it's great to know people and that sort of thing. Well, to make a long story short, the lawyer was mediocre and really didn't know how to handle what I needed for him to handle as well as I thought he would. And I didn't get a discount for his services. So the whole experience was probably just as good or worse than if I would have gone online and typed into the search box, "lawyer near me." Okay, so that was one case where I really needed a professional hookup and it fell really short of the mark. But that's just one example. Now, I haven't always been a solitariist. I've had lots of friends. I've belonged to organizations. Like when I was looking for a job, I tried networking big time because the more people you know, the better chance you have at getting a good job, right? Well, my first corporate job I got from answering an ad. And I was putting myself out there. I was talking to people. I had my resume around. Everybody knew I was looking for a job. It didn't do any good for me. You can fast forward to the time that was right before I decided to isolate myself. And I was president of an organization here in San Diego that had 950 people. 950 members. And I was at pretty much every event. Everyone knew me. I was talking to everyone. And what did these social connections do for me? The answer is absolutely nothing. It didn't help me professionally. It didn't help me financially or anything. If you want to talk transactional relationships, and that's what our society has been reduced to, I'm not talking about friends. I didn't make any friends, really. They were canned friends. They were friends that were just there because they were in the organization like me, too. I wasn't getting any Thanksgiving invitations or anything else, really. But on a transactional basis, what people pride themselves on being connected and all that stuff, none of that ever worked for me. And you can talk to a lot of people and they will tell you the same sort of thing. So if you're alone and you don't have a lot of friends and you think you're missing out on a lot of benefits in life, everything from a good plumber to a good tip on a job, you're not missing out on anything. I mean, networking is really overhyped. And I don't know where that comes from, but I think probably it comes from some of the emotions involved where people feel special for giving the information and for getting that special little hookup. It makes them feel important, I guess. You're well connected and that kind of crap. If I had to do it all over again with that lawyer, I would have just gone online and said, "lawyer near me." It's a roll of the dice anyway, who you're going to get. But recommendations from neighbors and stuff like that, it's not the inside track you think it is. And maybe it's a topic of another video, but you always hear that you're only as good as the people you hang out with and the sum of the people that you spend time with, or some other variation of that. And, if you're surrounded by good people, you can get inside information and your life can be more enriching because you have all of these really higher connections. Well, that's a double-edged sword. I heard some guy who spouts that sort of advice to surround yourself with the 6 individuals you want to be like. And one of these people gained his confidence and his trust and screwed him out of $900,000. When I heard this guy say that, I thought, well, how is this guy doing any better than I am? It sounds like maybe it's a wash, because it might look like that having connections could be detrimental to you. In any case, don't worry about it because you're fine by yourself anyway, as I keep saying. So if you're alone and you're thinking that other parts of your life are suffering because you're not plugged in somehow and you don't have a good network, you're not missing anything. It's a big myth. At least that's what I've seen in my life. And I'm in my mid-50s. I'm not some accidental crypto millionaire in his 20s who thinks he can give advice on the internet. I'm like your dad. So that's about all I wanted to say on this. Thank you once again for watching and listening, and remember to be happy alone.